Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Kev and today I want to talk about something that I call the discipline trap. So one of the things that I've noticed through having arthritis and trying to self-manage arthritis is that whenever I get really disciplined and get really on top of my lifestyle, kind of the food I'm eating, exercising, get my sleep routine in good order, I'm stretching, I'm keeping stress to a minimum. And what tends to happen is that my symptoms start to diminish. I still have flare-ups from time to time, but in terms of its impact in my day-to-day life, it kind of minimizes how the negative impact that arthritis is having on my life. But then something can happen, right? So an example scenario would be I am going to a wedding or it's someone's birthday and I go out to a party or something like that, right? And up until this point, I've been super disciplined. I've been really on top of something. And you know what? I deserve to relax and kind of enjoy myself. So I go out and I eat whatever food and I have dessert and I have a few drinks or whatever. And my sleep gets a bit disrupted and stuff like that. And then the next day I wake up and I'm feeling a little bit hungover, not feeling too sprightly, not looking to get up and go to the gym or anything like that. So naturally, with a hangover, maybe, and some sleep deprivation, maybe you start making some bad decisions. So for me, that might be get a takeaway or something like that because I don't feel like cooking. I'm tired. It was a heavy night, and I have my takeaway and I sit on the couch all day and I'm relaxing because I've got a hangover. The day after that, then I start to feel the fact that now I've got 2 days where I haven't been eating great. I spent the day hungover sitting on the couch and I'm starting to feel a bit more stiff and I'm tired and my body is starting to let me know that it's not happy with me. So then I'm getting a bit grumpy and a bit angry because inside my head I'm thinking, oh, I'm stiff, this is annoying, I'm having a flare up, and that starts to bring my mood down. Now, that night maybe I don't sleep well because having a flare up is increasing my stress a little bit. My sleep has been disrupted from the previous 2 nights. And then the further disruption in sleep means the next day I'm tired, I'm a little bit more stiff, and that my symptoms are kind of ramping up a little bit. And when you're tired and stiff and your mood has been negatively impacted by all these things, making good choices becomes harder and harder and harder. Maybe I don't want to sit down and spend the 15 minutes that it takes to make a fresh salad. Maybe I'm not going to go to the shop and put in the effort of buying all the food I need to cook for myself and all that sort of stuff. So I've started to slip a little bit, and maybe I'm just falling completely off the rails. And as I do that, my symptoms get worse and my mood lowers again. And this kind of just spirals completely out of control. And the reason I call this the discipline trap is because when you're feeling good as a result of a period of being very disciplined, that is the point where you are most at risk, let's say, of slipping off and going down this spiral. Okay, because you've been feeling good and maybe you've got your symptoms under control for a while. As soon as you slip in terms of the discipline, how your symptoms come back and kind of negatively impact you can almost feel like it's amplified or exacerbated, right? Because I've been feeling good for 3 or 4 weeks, let's say, and then I slip up and then I have a really bad day. Well, that bad day feels really bad because the last, 20 days have actually been really good. So by comparison, it's terrible. And that impact on my mood makes the chances of me just completely spiral out and away from kind of my routines that had got me feeling good in the first place, the chances of me slipping up from that are kind of just greatly increased. And, I'm not saying that you can't go out and enjoy yourself. We all want to go on a holiday. We all want to be able to go out and celebrate certain milestones and whatever it is. And I'm not saying that you need to be super disciplined every day for the rest of your life. But I think we need to be cognizant of the fact that when we do these things, we are at risk of slipping and going down that spiral. And kind of like I talked about in the last video, it's not necessarily about coming up with solutions and avoiding life and avoiding all these things. It's more about cultivating awareness, right? We want to be just really aware that these things can happen. And when we start to spiral, it can be very difficult to stop the spiral when you're in it unless you have an awareness of the fact that that's what's happening. Okay, so I think that's where awareness is really important, that you need to catch yourself when you start to spiral down into a bad place. So be mindful, cultivate that awareness. Remember that if you have arthritis or some sort of inflammatory condition like arthritis, um, it, we can't really live in on the default setting or in the default mode. We can't really just sleepwalk through life because society and the culture that we live in, it's not really set up for us, right? It's not. To be honest, you could argue that it's not set up for people in general, but in particular for us, right? The food that's typically available and easy to get and affordable is not the food that makes us feel good, right? Like your fresh organic vegetables and fruits and your fresh meat and maybe wild caught fish or whatever it is, all of that stuff is expensive and increasingly difficult to obtain. And that's what we need, really. And when you kind of go into the default mode of just sleepwalking through life, let's say, and kind of living in the way that the culture around us has kind of the lifestyles that the culture around us has shaped, you are going to feel negative consequences as a result. So I think awareness is key. Someone commented in, I think it was the last video or the video before, that one of the most important skills you can build as someone who's self-managing a chronic disease is that you need to build this awareness of your body. And I think that's huge. That is a real superpower. And on top of that, you also need to build an awareness of your emotions and how you're feeling so that you can catch yourself in this spiral and that you can avoid the discipline trap. When you're at the peak in terms of feeling good, how much easier it is to fall really, really hard because you've almost forgotten what it's like to be at the bottom. You've forgotten what it was that motivated you to get onto that discipline track in the first place. So cultivate awareness, try and create a lifestyle where if you just sleepwalk through that lifestyle. So as an example, let's say I went out and I had my few drinks and I was feeling hungover the following day. It might be a good idea to make sure that the only food I have in my house is fresh food, that there's no option for me to just pull a pizza out of the freezer and put it in the oven, right? You can manipulate your environment in a way where regardless of how you're feeling, you are limiting your options to avoid a kind of a slide into a negative place. That's kind of all I've got for today. I think this idea of awareness that I talked about in the previous video and in this video is really, really important. And I think that cultivating this awareness of your body, that physical awareness, but also that emotional awareness, these are two, let's call them skills, that if you acquire will just greatly help you in your journey in living with a chronic illness. Um, that's it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section. As always, if you're enjoying these videos or find them useful, please subscribe. And other than that, have a great day. Thank you for watching.